Hello, and welcome to Next Up with Naming St. Louis. I'm your host, Will Houston. I'm the Marketing and Technology Chair of Naming St. Louis. And on this podcast, we're here to explore the stories, experiences, and insights of dynamic professionals making strides in their careers. We'll be speaking with those who are on a journey of growth and advancement. Our goal is to inspire, inform, and connect you with incredible talent shaping the future of the communications industry. Thank you for joining us today. Let's introduce our next guest. This episode's guest is Tiffany Wade. Tiffany is an integrated media expert who has overseen teams of media planning associates while collaborating with internal and external departments to deliver effective and innovative B2C and B2B marketing campaigns for clients across various industries. She has over 10 years of experience in media strategy, planning, execution, and optimization. She holds a Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership from Malone University and a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from University of Akron. Tiffany has a passion for volunteering and giving back to her community, both personally and professionally. She has mentored 25 plus young professionals throughout the array of professional groups she is involved with. She is currently serving on the NAMIC Atlanta Board of Directors as president. A continuous learner, she has obtained ERG Leader Certification through Saramount and Experienced Manager Certification through New Level Leadership. Hey, Tiffany, thank you for joining us this week on Next Up with Naming St. Louis. We start off by you just telling us a little bit about yourself and introducing yourself?
Yes, so thank you so much for having me. I'm Tiffany, the current NAMIC Atlanta chapter president. Started my career about 10 years ago in media, and my former employer, which was Time Warner, which is now Spectrum Reach, might be something else after this Cox merger, offered NAMIC as a resource or as a soft benefit. And so I was involved more at like a national level because there wasn't an actual chapter, in Cleveland where I was located. And I found such value in NAMIC that when I moved to Atlanta and saw that Atlanta had a really active chapter, I immediately knew I wanted to step up and get into some type of leadership role or just see where I could fit in. At the time, I was like kind of right in time with nominations and things. And so I was nominated to the board of directors as treasurer a couple of years ago. And then this current nomination cycle, I originally started as secretary. However, the former president stepped down back in April, a few months into our term. And then they asked me if I wanted to be president. And I said yes, just because the Atlanta chapter and NAMIC, as I've mentioned, meant so much to me personally and professionally with my development. And so I just wanted to do my part and make sure that, our NAMIC Atlanta chapter stayed afloat.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And, this type of organization in NAMIC to be the president, of this type of organization in Atlanta, right? That's huge, right? So I'm sure that's not a small responsibility for you, and kind of comes with opportunities to not only learn and grow for yourself, but to help others learn and grow. So I guess in that context, can you tell me a little bit about what leadership in this position, what leadership means for you in NAMIC, and even wider than that, what does leadership mean to you in the telecommunications and media space?
Yeah, definitely a role that I don't take lightly as being president of NAMIC. As we mentioned, NAMIC, the kind of purpose of it is to give community and help foster the next generation of multicultural leaders. And so leadership to me in the context of NAMIC really means being a resource, a safe haven, and a platform where we can see others, such as ourselves, really utilize it as like a leap board into whatever they want, whatever you would want to do professionally and personally. And then, like I said, hopefully you gain some friends along the way. As we know, or as I've mentioned, I've been in the media space for a little over 10 years now. And if I can just be frank, you still don't see a lot of diversity at the top or kind of even mid-level. And so I think as as a leader, I love leadership.
Mhm.
I love the ability to really empower those around me. That's what
Yeah.
leadership means to me. It means empowering others. While I have a strong vision for myself,
Mhm.
being a leader for me means I want to empower you or whoever that I'm leading to see what their vision is and act upon that. And once they realize that, that means giving them the tools, resources, opportunities, and network to make that happen. And so I think, like I said, that's how I approach my leadership with NAMIC. And then in a wider telecommunications and media space, I want to do the same as well. I want others in our space to know that NAMIC is a resource to do exactly what I just kind of laid out. Chase your wildest dreams or wildest passions. Do you have a brand, a dream brand that you want to
Mhm.
work with? Chances are we have someone like that in our network, or someone that can connect you to that brand or company or person, if you will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you hit on something there that I want to try to delve into a little bit more with you. And you just kind of mentioned how you have so you're in leadership positions, right? Within your day job, you're in leadership positions within NAMIC. And you mentioned that you have a vision as well, not just for yourself, but for, kind of the world you want to see. And sometimes I think it's hard, especially, in when you're trying to move into places that aren't very diverse and trying to bring that diversity of thought, and not just diversity of thought, but diversity of self into these places to also retain that vision, right? Because you find yourself trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So can you tell me a little bit? And I think this is as much advice for other people who might be listening as it is for me. Can you tell me a little bit how you retain that level of, I guess, authenticity of self, right? When you go into those spaces and still bring your vision of what you want to see happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a seesaw,
Yeah.
right? When you say authenticity in corporate, those
Uh,
words don't necessarily match,
so true. So
right?
true.
And so I think at least in my media background, I've been really fortunate and blessed to just be around leadership
Mhm.
that creates that open space.
Mhm.
And so as a leader, that's how I also, tend to lead, is just creating an open space. But I will say in my career, when I stopped trying to be that circle in a square,
Mhm.
that's when I saw my career actually take shift and really grow, and allowed
Wow.
me to level up, within corporate. Like I said, it is a balancing act. While not all corporations allow you to show up authentically,
Mhm.
again, I have been fortunate enough. One, it starts with you, right?
Sure.
You have to set your intention so that
Mhm.
you can get that energy that you need back, the energy and the opportunities. So
Mhm.
the moment with your intention and as clear and concise that you can be of what your vision looks like,
Yeah.
that's where it starts. So
Yeah.
it starts with self awareness, intentionality, a clear and concise view of what you want,
Mhm.
and then a little bit of faith. Well, a
Yeah,
lot of bit of
right.
faith.
Yeah.
A lot of bit of faith. Um, to continue to walk in that path, that of the vision that you see for yourself. And then lo and behold, I promise you, all of those pieces end up falling into place. And so, like I said, I've been fortunate enough and I actually have a master's of organizational leadership.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And a lot of the program was a lot of self reflection, and it was a
Oh,
lot of self awareness essays. And so that's where I said, after coming out of that program and earning my master's,
yeah.
I was so clear and concise with what I wanted and what my vision was,
Mhm.
that I just immediately kind of started trailblazing that path. And the moment
Wow.
that I started walking in that purpose, that's when all of the pieces fell into place.
I love
I
that.
know you may not always see it, but I
Mhm.
promise you, it starts with you.
Yeah.
And then once you have a clear view of what you want,
Uh-huh.
all of the things kind of fall into place that you need, for that to come, for that to come to fruition.
Wow. Wow. Oh, that's heavy because yeah. So it's like, oh, I just feel like I'm not being my authentic self. And it's like, you don't really know what that is for you, right? That's the reason you feel like you're fitting yourself into things because you're not solid. You're moldable. If you are solid in who you are and what you are, then you won't feel like you're fitting in because you'll kind of be more you'll be more unmovable in that way. I love that. Wow. That is interesting.
Absolutely. And you'll be able to set up boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
Again, the moment you know, hey, this particular company, this boss, this whoever,
Uh-huh.
this is who I am, this is
Yeah.
who they're giving me,
Uh-huh.
this isn't what I want. And you
Yeah,
know that you just know that there are opportunities, the exact opportunity that you're looking for does exist. When you're that clear in what you want, you're not going to stop or settle for what's right in front of you if
so true.
that's not for you.
So true. So true. Wow. Okay. Okay. I love that. I love that. And that's going to kind of take me into another sort of segue into another topic a little bit, but not so much. This month, we're celebrating Black History Month, right? So, this particular piece, I want to understand a little bit about for you what network, what community, and what that community support looks like, right? So, things like what we're just talking about, how you can be more self-assured, how you can kind of be more cemented in who you are so you can bring that to where you're going. With those things in community, I'd like to understand a little bit more on your journey. When you reflect on your journey, who are the people in the communities who have kind of supported you and uplifted you along the way, right? You've mentioned a
Mhm.
couple things. You mentioned growing in your organization. You've mentioned growing not just your organization, but the company that you work for. You've mentioned growing in NAMIC as well. With that being the case, what people do you know that kind of supported you and brought you up along the way?
Yeah, I first Black History Month means a lot, especially being in Atlanta. Just wanted to, follow that. I have been fortunate enough, even for my own family lens, my grandparents have owned fish markets here that have been, used in movies. And my grandpa had like a food truck like 30 years ago. So he was quite a visionary,
Yeah.
before everything happened. And so I just want to say, Atlanta, I don't know why, but it just is what it is. I
Yes.
think for Black history, it is the Mecca for
I
a
think
lot of
everybody
reasons.
knows. Yeah. Everybody
Yes, but
knows.
our ancestor, I hate saying Wakanda, but damn it, it
Uh,
is. Excuse my
as close
French,
as we
but it
got.
is. Yeah, it really is. For us Black Americans,
Yeah.
that it's just been blessed. I'm sorry. Our
Mhm.
ancestors have done whatever they needed to do for us to come and really live and breathe the Black history here.
Yeah.
Um, but as I reflect on my journey, I'll say it last April.
Mhm.
I experienced my first layoff.
Mm.
Hopefully my only, my
Yeah,
only,
I know, right? Yeah.
but it was, it's a tough time. I was not prepared. It came out of nowhere. Sorry, I did not read the tea leaves.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so I will say, the one of the some of the first people who called me, I was also an executive lead for our ERG,
Mm.
which was for Black and Latina. Again, I'm always building community no matter where I go. I can't help it. uh,
That's good.
and so some of the communities that have really helped me was, one of the first people who called me, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's not even like she called me. She's like, no girl, I'm going to call you, we're going to sit here and talk through this. I know
Hmm.
you're going through a lot of emotions, but I promise you, you're gonna make it.
Mm.
And when we both get our jobs, when
Yeah.
we both get jobs, we're gonna get a drink. And
Yeah.
actually, the drinks didn't happen, but I just
Oh,
texted her and was like, "Okay, girl, let's do this."
it's
But
time.
so
It's
anyway,
time.
I'm saying all of that to say, yes, it is time. You got to. I seen your LinkedIn post. You see mine. Come on now. So saying all of that to say, my communities were I was always very active in whatever like ERG was offered at any corporate level, which I know with this current state of things, it's unfortunate, that some companies are doing away, with those particular groups. But
Yeah.
I will say my ERG group, NAMIC for sure.
Hmm.
She runs it, is another organization
Mm.
that has just really, all of those women poured into me. The moment I put like my open to work banner, I
Wow.
got so many people texting me and looking out for me.
Yeah.
I knew for sure I could go to them for any job referral.
Yeah.
Other organizations around here, AMA,
Mm.
ABAC, AAF,
Hmm.
4A's, I can keep going,
All the
but
A's, right?
I'm really into, yes, all the A's, all the acronyms, all of them.
Yeah.
But I would say that again, my keyword is going to be intention. When
Hmm.
I moved down here, I had that support also because it's not support that I needed when that happened, right?
Hmm.
I'd already been crafting my community and my relationship for years prior to the layoff, which I would mark as a significant change
Yeah.
in my journey.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I just encourage while naming, this is what we're here about, talking about, is a great opportunity, a great community. But I think that's also one of the beauties, in Atlanta is
Hmm.
that we all really support one another. I think that's one of the reasons that we're all very successful down here.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not, while it is competition, it's friendly
Sure.
competition. And
Sure.
just as much as, we want to win, we also want to bring someone up with us. And so, yeah, I would say that those are kind of the communities that I had a, hand in creating. But that's who has really supported me. And not
Hmm.
just with job referrals, but like I said, those phone calls of
Right.
just checking in.
Right.
And that was pretty consistent. I was very, very blessed through my transition. And it took me like 8 months. It took me a while before
Yeah.
I found some stable type of work. But I would want to say in the beginning, it was definitely every day. Like every
Hmm.
day, somebody was texting and calling. If not, it was still like weekly
Yeah.
throughout that entire time. So I was very fortunate and blessed, that people just had me in their mind, wanted to uplift me, even in some of the darkest times.
Wow.
They were just able to at least offer some humor or just a, hey, girl, I'm thinking about you.
Wow.
And that goes a long way as you're going through that type of journey. So I would say, yeah, those were kind of there's a lot of people, so I don't even want to start naming
I
people
know, right?
and forget somebody. Not that I'm like accepting my Oscar speech or anything, but it's definitely a lot of awesome, awesome, amazing people who have supported me and championed me along my journey. But through those communities, that's how I met the majority of those people.
That is amazing. No, that really is. And just hearing that really uplifts me because I can definitely say that relationships that I've had have been, the hallmark of any, I've always tried to go above and beyond to learn new things. But in 9 times out of 10, it's been because somebody's been in the room and said, you know what, that guy, he's the one. He's the one you want to talk to if for that project or for this particular promotion. And they find out after the fact, oh, okay, he's good, he knows what he's talking about. But it was because that person vouched, right? And I think that, you really hit on
Hmm.
that. You really hit on that with, kind of with what you were saying. So, I agree with you, 100%. And, just to build on that a little bit, right? So you said, so this is the job that you have. The job you're doing now is the job that you have after the layoff, right?
I
And
just started literally January 5th.
wow, wow,
Yes, I'm clapping it up for myself because it's
I
been
know,
a
yeah.
long, long stretch. But yes, I just started my new role January 5th.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit about, I mean, I'm sure that, as you've come through, you've kind of grown in your career and, things have kind of gotten better, right? It's not like you got let go for some crazy reason. It was a layoff, right? And unfortunately,
Hmm.
these things do happen in corporations. And so you've told me about how having this community, having these people who are around you has helped you to get back into another job. But can you tell me how having mentors or sponsors has influenced your career, and tell me a little bit how you have intentionality behind paying that forward as well.
Yeah. So I would say my mentors and sponsors, it's hard sometimes,
Hmm.
not gonna lie, especially as I said, navigating, the media, tech, and
Mm.
entertainment space
Hmm.
that doesn't have many of us,
Yeah.
or just a lot of diversity. But having the mentors definitely, I'm one who doesn't like to sugarcoat.
Mm, yeah.
And I just kind of want things, pretty direct. And so having a mentor being able to pull me to the side and just, tell me what it is and how I can improve, that's been very invaluable.
Hmm.
Again, to how I show up, how I present, and the opportunities that have come from those tweaks. I'm very coachable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, just being able to have that no sugar. And I'm not saying like, grill me by any chance. I mean, I'm still human, but
Right.
I do want to know, straightforward, what, without a lot of fluff, like what is it that I can do, or how can I get to the next level. So yeah, I would say, again, me being clear, like, hey, I know I want to get into leadership, and asking a mentor or a sponsor, what is it that you think I need to do, or what doors, what opportunities, what do I need to do to get there? That has definitely fostered, my ability to progress in within the organizations, and my actual, 9 to 5 role.
Yeah.
And then I intentionally, I love mentoring.
Mm.
My roster is probably a little over like 36
Oh, wow.
over the past couple of years. So I'm always mentoring somebody, quite
Yeah.
literally. If you can imagine, the majority of those came from She Runs It, but I've
Yeah.
had a couple of one-offs. I've had a NAMIC mentee as well. And then one of my mentees, excuse me, I actually just got him an internship for a human resources, and he
Oh,
shouted me
wow.
out last
Wow.
week. And so yeah, it's that's how I pay it forward. I really love media. I think it's a great space,
Agreed.
and I don't think it's a highly talked about role,
Hmm.
or like professional opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I literally stumbled upon it. Like my friend was just, I was looking for a role. My friend was like, "Hey, I'm getting promoted. Would you like to maybe try out for this?" And I'm like, "Sure." And the moment, that I started my role in media, I said, "Oh man, this is really cool. I really, really enjoy this." And so, yeah, I mentor as many up and coming professionals as I can.
Yeah.
I also do career day at my daughter's school. So I
Hmm.
also really let the younger generation know about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You don't have to be a lawyer or a firefighter or
Yeah.
someone in finance, right? Or
Yeah.
you can be someone in finance, just do it
Sure.
in media because it's a
Right.
lot fun. It's
There's
a
a
lot more
lot.
fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's a
Yeah.
lot more
Absolutely.
opportunity. Like,
Exactly.
go do a movies finance,
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I definitely have been handed the assignment. I know the
Hmm.
assignment, and I'm trying to lift up as many people as I can. If I can fit 5 on each arm, I'm trying to lift up like 10 people at a time.
That's
So.
amazing. That's amazing. I love that. I love that. And I think that, you hit on something when you start talking about the media field, even telecommunications, right? It's like, oh, well, if I go into telecommunications, I have to be an engineer. No, there are, like you said, there's finance, there's, project management, there's all these different fields, right? And then, like you said, even in the media portion, there are all these different things that go into putting together what you see on the screen, right? And so yeah, you
So
could
many.
even legal, right? Like you want to be a lawyer, you could be in legal. There's all these different things, and when you get to talk about some of that stuff, I think it's just it's really important. And another thing you touched on is how you've been able to pay it forward, and something I find that because I've mentored some people myself, and one thing that I see sometimes when some of those people go on is they find it difficult to open themselves up to having conversations with someone. And can you tell me a little bit about how you go about, or not necessarily when you're trying to get somebody, so you're like, hey, I want to mentor you, or somebody, or you're going to somebody like, hey, I want you as my mentor, kind of how do you start that conversation and then build that relationship in a way that is sustained?
I think all professionals, that's actually we just did a survey for our Namic Atlanta chapter,
Hmm.
and that was probably one of the top things. Well, AI, of course,
Yeah.
was one of the top,
Yes.
was the top choice of programming. And second was how to network. It's an art. Not a lot of people know how to. Yes, you go to a conference, you meet someone, you connect on LinkedIn, but what's next? You know what I mean? How do you continue to foster that relationship and nurture
Right.
it and grow it so it's something sustainable and like a genuine connection? And that's a little tricky. I mean, I think that's you being smart about what whatever person you are looking to have mentor you, what are their interests? How can you help them? What value can you show? And then also being a little honest and just saying, hey, this is where I'm going and this is where I'm hoping I can help you. But it does get a little tricky as you get, at my level. It's definitely, I'm my mentors are the people that I'm seeking are, senior leaders, or, all the way up to C-suite.
Right.
And those people have, they're busy. And they're not going to mentor everyone. And so I think it's more so just, again, being clear in why you want to work with them, and letting that intention guide you into the conversations. This is always my rule of thumb. 9 times out of 10, people love talking about themselves. I think coffee chats are a little overdone at this point.
Yeah.
But if you can just say, hey, can I get 15 minutes of your time? What project are you most excited about? Or is there anything that I can do to help you? Or like I said, if you're really strategic, people post about themselves a lot, or, if they're in your particular company, you can just kind of have visibility into what key programming or what target, what project they're working on, and kind of going it around that. Other than that, happy birthdays, congratulations.
Right. Yeah.
Throw everything you got at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. Not so much when I feel like they're like a peer, but yeah, when, like I said, when they're like a
Yeah.
senior level up to C-suite, you don't want to waste their time, but you
Sure.
also want to see, like I said, what kind of value that you can add to them. And 9 times out of 10, just like I'm a mentor. My value is seeing you succeed. My value was literally seeing my mentee say, "You helped me get this internship." And I know what that internship is going to do for his career,
Yeah.
or like
Right.
his resume.
Yeah.
So think of it like that too. They're humans. They don't they eat, they
Yeah.
sleep, they
Yeah.
breathe, they
Yeah.
laugh, they cry just like us. So
Yeah.
trying to find that kind of common ground. But I will have one plug for a good friend of mine. She
Yeah.
actually has a program called Network Kit.
Mm.
And this program is actually designed to help people do exactly that. And so her name is Caroline Hooker, and like I
Yeah.
said, her program is Network Kit,
Network
and
it. Yeah.
she's right here in Atlanta. Yep. And I
Nice.
always, if she ever has an event, I always pump that out to my members because I think that's very valuable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, yeah, and that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask too. You had mentioned some of the events that you have, and you mentioned the AI event, which is like the opposite of human. And then you mentioned some of the other events you have that are fully about humans, right? So, can you tell me, and this question I'm asking you now is gonna help me segue a little bit into something else I want to ask you about. But I do want to know a little bit about how, as the president of Naming Atlanta, how do you uh kind of shape, I guess, mold some of the events that you have to make sure that you're kind of fostering some of that as well. Some of
Yeah,
the,
like
yeah.
I said, we really want to. I want people to feel like whatever programming we're doing is tailored
Hmm.
for them, for their
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah.
And so I start with a survey. We just actually put that out. If any of our the Atlanta chapter members are listening, you have until tomorrow to complete it, please.
You're on the
And so
clock.
yes, I try to give our members, a voice in that. We always have monthly member calls, and so anyway, I'm saying all of that to say I try to create an open space for members to let me know what type of programming that they want.
Absolutely.
And then from that, I stay abreast of the current industry. I was not the only, layoff. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, even like yesterday, I was
Yeah.
informed, Home Depot is about to, it has already started. So I see my timeline flooded with a lot of those roles. And a couple of, the layoffs are going to continue. So I know people need support. I know I just went through this. And so I just always also try to, I come to from a humanistic approach.
Sure.
And so I try to provide programming, from not only what the members say, but also from what I've experienced, just in this environment and in our particular Atlanta community.
Right.
So those are kind of the basis of what I use. But like I said, everyone's afraid of AI or or just
Yeah.
wants to learn how to use it And so I think that that's, a very crucial topic. Again, the networking, or, how to maintain and sustain substantial networking relationships.
Hmm.
And then a lot of people just want community, right? They just
Yeah.
want to come out and network and just talk to people.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the three pillars, or what I'm kind of focusing on is one, helping people through transition and keeping their mental health top
Mhm.
line. How can we continue to leverage and learn and grow with AI, as it continues to be integrated in and everyone's job. If
Mhm.
AI is not a part of your job yet, I'm sure it's coming.
Oh yeah.
um yeah, and then just putting on really thoughtfully crafted networking events that
Right.
help everyone just feel at ease and have an open and safe space to show up authentically.
That's amazing. I love that. And so when I said that that question is going to kind of help me segue into another one. We've talked about some things that are important to you, right? We've talked about intentionality. We've talked about community. We've talked about just setting people up to go into the rest of their future and the rest of their career as prepared as they can be to take on the things that are coming next, right? Those are some of the things that you have mentioned in this last answer. So again, with it being, Black History Month, and it's the time that we reflect on legacy. What do you want to see be your legacy, not just in your job, right, but also in naming? What do you want to see be your legacy if you had something to that was kind of your motto, that statue they built for you? What do you want the plaque to say?
I would like my legacy to be connector, a resource, someone that actually leaves lasting impact into someone's lives.
Mhm.
Um, with a little bit of swag.
Yeah.
My outfits and everything are pretty good, so I definitely want that to be in my legacy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
uh, so yeah, I think for me, just community builder, connector, resource. Yeah, just somebody who empowers many. I identify as a servant leader,
Hmm.
and so I always want to serve the people that are looking to me. And like I said, my vision is whatever your vision is for you.
Yeah.
And how can I help you get there? And my motto is, as long as you're not trying to be, you deserve any and everything that you
That's
need.
right. That's right.
Again, sorry for the profanity, but
You're all
yes.
right. That's all right. But yeah, no, absolutely. You're 100% right. And it's like, unfortunately, I think that, yeah, I don't want to harp on this too much because, it's kind of it's part, your legacy, I think, is an important piece here. But I do see that a lot. It seems like, oh, well, that guy, he's a real jerk, but he's always winning, right? Or that girl, she
Hmm.
nobody likes her, but she's, somehow always winning. But the stories aren't told enough about the people who kind of go out of their way not to be likable, but to not be a terrible person, and who those people who are
Hmm.
succeeding and pulling people up with them. And I think that you mentioning that is very important, because unfortunately, we see it more and more in the world that those people are just not highlighted enough, and it really shows in the type of people who end up in charge or who end up in leadership positions sometimes. It's just not
Yeah.
enough of the good people, I think.
It's not. And that's why I want to empower as many people
Hmm.
to be confident in leaving those bad leaders. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Not feeling like they're pigeonholed into being under bad leadership.
Right.
So that those bad leaders can be more easily identified. So it's almost like reverse, taking down those bad leaders. It's just empowering the people who they're leading, so that they
Hmm.
know, hey, this guy sucks, or this woman is not the best.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that's kind of that's my way of extinguishing bad leadership. But yeah, yeah, I see it all the time. I see it all the time. And unfollow, unlike, whatever you got to do to protect your peace.
Yes.
But yes, unfortunately, you can't solve everything. But
Mhm.
like I said, for me, if I have instilled enough confidence and clarity and intention in someone, that's good enough for me, because I know
Absolutely.
that they'll be rooted and grounded in their purpose and follow that with passion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. All right. Well, let me ask you this, all right? So you've already told me a little bit about your plans for Naming Atlanta coming in 2025. You said that there's a survey out that you're gonna, try to get an idea of where everybody is in their mind and
Mhm.
where they want to take things. So you've talked about that. Let me ask you, for some young leaders listening today, what's something that you think that they could do, or some advice that you would give that they can do right now, to strengthen their support networks in a way that not only, edifies the person who they're working with, but also themselves and kind of helps them grow their career while growing someone else's career.
I would say for young leaders, getting your network, so get involved with organizations outside of your organization.
Hmm.
Really, if you're in college, I don't know how young we're talking about, but if you're in college, get involved with those student organizational groups,
Hmm.
who, our name it Atlanta University Relations chapter. We do partner, a lot with those type of university, those student led university groups. So yeah, get involved with that and really capitalize on internships. I think in media, or at least this has been my experience, I had it a little rough because I came in media later in life.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you're up and coming and young, like everyone loves to mentor. So
Yeah.
really capitalize on that, right? Kind of like the cute factor, like, oh, look at you. So really capitalize on that because a lot of more senior leaders, C-suite included, if you show a little bit of initiative and craft a well-articulated letter, like they'll at the drop of a dime be like, sure, I can mentor you, because I think as a leader now, we all wish we had someone like us,
Yeah.
at our
Yes.
early starts of the career to
Yeah.
avoid a lot of bumps and humps and mistakes that we've made, especially in corporate.
Yeah.
We all know corporate does not come with a handbook. It should, but I want to be that handbook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we all need someone to be that handbook for us.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, yeah, I would say what they can do now, like I said, get involved with any organization, any internship, shoot your shot while you're young. Like I said, if there is some type of dream company, dream person, or dream job that you want, don't be afraid to look that person up and reach out directly. And I would lastly say just take initiative. I already talked about one of my mentees. The reason that he even connected with me, he's a freshman, by the way, a freshman at Morehouse.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he sent us an email. He sent our an email to Namick Atlanta. He went to one of our revolt mixers, and I connected with him. And he followed up and was just like, "Hey, I would love an opportunity, for a human resource internship, yada yada yada." I didn't have anything at the time, but I still was like, "No, I'm going to take the time to sit, and give you
Yeah.
30 minutes and let you know." And luckily for him, I do know, some people in the human resources field, and that's how he was able to get his internship. But that initiative alone, and he keeps thanking me. I'm like, thank yourself. You're the one who created this entire,
Yeah.
opportunity because, without you reaching out, I wouldn't have known you would, or anything like that. So
Wow.
biggest thing you can do is take that initiative. And I will also personally throw in another an initiative take. I worked at GE Capital, which is
Mhm.
now Synchrony Bank,
Mhm.
when I was in college. I created my own human resource internship. I was the only employee to ever create a paid internship
Oh,
within that
wow.
company.
Wow.
And why? It's because my initiative.
Yeah.
I was just like, and I did a little PowerPoint. I said, hey, I need this many credits, this many hours. This is what it can look like. I presented it to the head of human resources, and between them and my manager, they allowed it to make it there. They made it happen.
Wow.
And that was never done. Trust me. I doubt it will ever be done again. But don't be afraid to create your own opportunities. If the opportunity is not there, you can still create it. You have a voice and use it.
Wow. Yeah. And so, yeah, so like you said, I mean, because those are two pieces right there, which not only are, just kind of amazing examples of, why it is that mentors are out there and why you should build a community, but also take an initiative, right? Like you said, the young man that you work with that you're mentoring, you know, it's like, thank you for helping me. But like you said, I don't know. I wouldn't know who you were. You took the step to get out there and do it. And just like you with the HR internship, you took the step to get out there and do it. And you don't know if you're going to fail or succeed until you've done it. But fortunately, you did it and you did succeed. And I think that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's one of those things that kind of keeps you willing and wanting to continue that work, right?
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And so I just want to scream that from the mountaintops. Like there's no situation, no nothing that you can't get around. I just promise you. But like I said, it just starts with you being self-aware and having
Yeah.
that clarity and then setting that intention and then walking in that intention. I know that sounds really easy. I get that that's hard because life throws a lot of curveballs at you at once.
Sure. Sure.
But I actually heard something, a younger person said this, but I mean, it's still good. When you start encountering those roadblocks,
Mhm.
know that you're on the right path
You're going the right
because
way.
those roadblocks, yeah, those roadblocks are meant for you to learn something so that you can use it along the way.
Wow.
And I was like, if that
That's
ain't a
deep.
word,
Right. You start snap.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, I was over here snapping. I know you can't see me, but yeah, I'm snapping and clapping.
Yes, that's good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just know if you do encounter those roadblocks, it's a reason you're encountering those roadblocks. And I promise you there's a way to leap over it, climb over it, walk around it, or something.
Right.
But you just have to have that, that, and like I said, you just have to be passionate about it. So
Exactly. Exactly. So, Tiffany, you've taken us through your journey. You've taken us through uh the intentionality matrix, right? And staying focused on, making intentional goals and making sure that you stay committed to community, right? I think that you've given so many perfect tidbits throughout this, that can go to people I think who are listening to this, and then I'm sure people who are in your chapter who get to talk to you all the time really get to take that away from you. But now, while we have you here, do you have any final thoughts or even any platforms that you want to lift up? I know you had mentioned one of your friends, like websites, platforms, or any final thoughts that you kind of want to lift up as we close up.
yeah, like I said, Carline Hooker Network It, specifically in the Atlanta region. Janice Middleton runs First Not Only. That's a great organization. Of course, Namick Atlanta is a great
Yeah,
organization.
you're right. We
I'm
gotta throw
just
that plug in. Got to, yeah.
well, I'm gonna continue to plug us in and yeah, I just encourage everyone, if you don't think you have community, you can find it, seek it out. And if it doesn't exist, don't be afraid to create it.
I love that. I love that. Tiffany Wade, thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of this. I look forward to maybe trying to figure out some ways we can collaborate down the road. I would have to, get you and Elgin and Cynthia together. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. I appreciate it. I applaud you guys for doing this and just look forward to further collaborations across the board. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you found it encouraging and insightful. With over 15 chapters nationwide, NAMIC is passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the communications industry, with a wider range of professional development opportunities, networking events, and leadership programs. NAMIC is dedicated to empowering multi-ethnic diversity in the media and communications industry. Members gain access to valuable resources, industry insight, and an incredible community of like-minded professionals. For more information, go to NAMIC.com or to the NAMIC St. Louis chapter at NAMICSt.Louis.com or LinkedIn at LinkedIn.com/NAMIC St. Louis. Thank you and have a wonderful month. See you next time.